everybody. It's Paul Titterington from Platinum Partners Realtors in downtown Downers Grove, serving the community for about 30 years. It's interesting. People are talking about the mortgage rates. They're talking about also sellers are talking about, Paul, how much does it cost for me to sell my property? And that's really important, especially with the equity in their home, especially with the inflation that's going on right now. They want to know what their costs are. And that's what I do. I come in, I sit down with them, talk about their equity, how safe it is in this particular market. And then also we talk about the mortgage rates and how that affects their home and also the cost of, like I mentioned, that the cost of what it is to sell their home. Believe it or not, as far as what the equity goes, I was reading a study that across the nation, the average equity is around $300,000. That may not apply to you. It's going through the whole nation. So that's what they're looking at, around $300,000 in equity. And many people are concerned, as I mentioned, about the equity. And that's important. So we have to focus more now on, as being a listing agent, letting the seller know what costs are going to be incurred in this whole process.
I want to say thank you for stopping by. You may have come from YouTube or my Facebook. Either way, I appreciate you reaching out. The next step is to give me a call. Call me up, or you can sign up below. Whatever works best for you. You can text me. I'm 24/7. I've been doing this for years. Just call. You're not wasting my time. Many people will say, Paul, we don't waste your time. You're not, because you're growing in knowledge and I'm helping you do that. I've been doing it for years. Whether you're an investor, buyer, seller, doesn't matter. Give me a call, 630-363-0054. Most importantly, thank you for stopping by. I hope it was beneficial. Please give me a call.
Before we get there, though, I'd like to talk to you about the mortgage rates, giving you an update. As always, today it's March 5th. It's a Tuesday, and you're looking at the 30-year fixed mortgage at 7.25%. And then you're also looking at the 30-year fixed refinancings, and it's going to be 7.25%. And then you got the 15-year refinancing, it's about 6.79%. So we're looking at, for example, the 30-year fixed, it came down about 9 basis points. That's at 7.25% right now. The 30-year fixed refinancing is at 7.25% as well. That has increased by 1 point. And then you also have the 15-year refinancing for a mortgage, and that's at 6.79%, and that's down about 6 basis points. Also, what I like to do is give a time frame. So back in November 3rd, in 2023, the interest rate was at 8.02%. 8.02. I mean, we're up there at that point, and people didn't know what was going to happen. And then we also have, like in December, around December 8th or whatnot, it went down to 7.42%. And then it continues to go down more. So January 5th, it was up 7.06%. And then as far as, let me just double check here. Yeah, so as far as the end of December, it was at 6.93%. 6.93%. And then it goes down to 6.96 back in February, the beginning of February, and then it's creeping up. So right now, the average across the nation is 7.31% for a 30-year fixed. So there you have it with the mortgage rates. Once again, the mortgage rates are fluctuating. It's not this straight line. And experts are saying that it's going to be, we're going to get down to that 6.25, 5.75. Have a open mind. That's one thing you need to do. When I'm meeting with these people and we're going over their home equity report, which if you need one, let me know. But we're keeping an open mind. I'm mentioning to them, hey, this may not apply to you, but this is what's going on with your property. And they're very grateful for that information. Also, I wanted to go into, like I mentioned before, the cost of selling your home. And there's costs. There really is cost to the seller and there's cost for the buyer too, but for selling your home. So basically what I do is I take that proceed sheet and I will look at what they owe on the property. So let's say that I talk to my seller. They're like, hey, Paul, we owe $200,000, but our house is worth $600,000. Then typically they're going to get around $400,000 in equity. That's minus, give or take the expenses that are out there. So that's really the first number we look at, because that's how much they owe. And then what I do is I go through what the first day of the month, as far as the interest on your on your mortgage rate. So we put that in there because that's another expense that you're going to be paying before the closing. And then you also have, in Illinois, it's a little crazy, you have the property taxes that you pay. But in 2024, we're paying for 2023. So depending on what half of the 2023 year is, because we pay our taxes in the first part of 2023, and then we pay also at the end of another 6 months at the end of 2023. So what you're doing is you're paying for that, and then also you're adding on for the time that you're still in the house. So let's say that you're paying all last year, right? But you're in the house here for another 5 months, you're adding that on. So it's about 17 months of taxes. That's really what gets the seller on the buy side. They're receiving that as opposed to the seller paying it out. Title insurance fluctuates depending on the your list price. It can go from anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000, give or take. So that's important to put that in there. Now the real estate fee, real estate commission, that's all dependent on negotiating and whatnot. But typically there's a standard rate that we use. But it's fluctuating. Things are fluctuating right now. When I come in and I talk to them, we go ahead and we talk about what my commission is. And it's very helpful because they accommodate that and they understand why that is. Then we also have, and I know it's a lot of information, we have the attorney fee. The attorney fee ranges from anywhere from $550 to $600. Typically, that's a flat fee, where they send out letters and whatnot. However, if there's extra work that the lawyer needs to do, and I've got some great ones too, got one wonderful one. If it's a little bit more, then they'll charge a little bit more for obvious reasons. And then finally, as far as with, not finally, we have also a repair allowance. The repair allowance, it means that, let's say you're selling it as is, right? But they do a home inspection, they come back and ask for a few things. Typically, I put about $1,000 for a repair allowance. So that way you have it, it's not coming out of, the current proceeds, but it's coming out of the expenses that you will pay. And then finally, on top of other costs, but you're looking at transfer stamps. So when you sell in Downers Grove, you're not paying transfer stamps. You're moving, you're not worrying about transfer stamps. However, of course, it's different with Illinois. Illinois is very different. What they do is they charge for every 1,000, they charge $1. So let's just say that, as far as with there's $25,000, right? So per 1,000, it's going to be $1, so it'll be $25. And that's the same thing with DuPage. It's not going to be the county. Typically, it's 0.5% every $500. So at least that's the way that I factor it in. So you've got that. So that basically is the usually half of what. Well, it is half of what the state charges. So you're looking at $1,000, looking at $25. So the county would be half of that. So it gives you a little bit idea of what those are as far as with the transfer stamps. So after you add all that up, then that'll give you just the point of the expenses. And then you take that off what the sales price is. So for example, you sell it for $400,000, you subtract what those expenses are, and that typically is, give or take, your profit. What are you going to get? Your net profit on the property. And so what's great is when I go through this process with the seller, you can see the eyes just open up. Because I use an iPad, I go through it with them. I've got a whole different system. But most importantly, they're appreciative of that. So as far as with, once again, the mortgage rates, it's not an up and down thing. This is where they're at today. And then as far as with the cost for the seller with selling your home, I broke it down for you, but I can also sit down with you as well. So thanks again. Give me a call if any of this resonates with you. If you need any assistance, the market is great. Give me a call to learn more about the safety of your equity. 630-363-0054. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day.